Now, this example is very different yet again, and if you haven't had a read through the question, then please pause the video now and do that, and so that you are familiar with the question and things that I'm going to refer to. And you'll hopefully pick out for yourself the features of this question that make it different. So, this question is asking you to find the coordinates of the vertex and the focus and the equation of the directrix for this parabola. So that's quite different. You're not finding the equation of the parabola. You're being given the equation of the parabola. You're finding the coordinates. And we know what coordinates are, x and y values inside a bracket. So we're going to make sure that that's how our answers look. Coordinates for the vertex, coordinates for the focus, they're both points. And the equation of the directrix. Now we know that the directrix is a straight line, and the directrix will have either equation which is x is equal to a constant or y is equal to a constant. So paying attention to the question, I've already got set in my mind what my answers are going to look like. I'm going to have two answers that are points, and points are two values inside brackets, and an x equals a constant or a y equals a constant as the equation of the directrix. Okay, so I think we're in a good position to move on after having done that and made sure that we've registered that. We don't move on if we don't know what the question's about. So let's have a look at the way they've given us this equation, and that is not what we would like. X squared plus 4x minus 8y plus 12 is equal to 0. But I simply think about the format that I would like. I would like it to be in the format. What are some of the formats? I would like ideally x squared is 4ay. And I say that because I can see I've got an x squared and a y. I know it's not going to be that simple because there's a 4x term. So, or x minus h all squared is 4ay minus k is the other format where hk is the vertex. Is the vertex. Now, I note that because if I can get this equation into this format and h and k are the vertex, I've answered that bit. This equation doesn't give me the focus. It would enable me to work out the focal length, but I think at that stage I'm going to need to draw the diagram to get a bit more information, but let's see how we go. So I'm going to work algebraically for a little while because this is not in the format that I wanted, and this is not at a point where we panic. We say, it's not what I want, this is what I want. I know how to get from there to there. It's called completing the square. So that's what I've done. I've kept the x squared and the 4x. You can see that I've introduced 4 because remember this is twice the product of the 2, which means that the other term was a 2. Square the 2 is a 4. I've added 4 to this side. I've kept the equal sign, I've taken the 8y across, it becomes a positive, and the 12 becomes negative 12. But I must keep all of this equal. If I've added 4 to that side, I add 4 to that side. These are just all basic processes that we really need to be very confident with. Yeah, we need to be able to work through the process very quickly there. that enables us then to spend more time when we get to the points where we're not really sure how to move on, but we shouldn't be having any trouble there. So we've got x plus 2 all squared is equal to, now hopefully you remember, it's 8y minus 8. Hopefully you remember and you'll realise why I made this step from that line to that line, and it's because, remember I said that the y has to be 1y inside the bracket. So that means I take out an 8 and I'm left with y minus 1. Now that's really nice. From that format, I can state the vertex straight away. I can answer that part of the question straight from the equation format that I've produced. The vertex, which is your h and k, will be, now think about, this should be in the format x minus h. What have I got a minus to get a plus 2? Got a minus 2, and the k would be 1. So my vertex is at minus 2, 1. I can also find a, because this 8 represents 4a. 4 times what gives me 8? A is equal to 2. So the algebra part's been good so far for me to be able to read off the vertex, the focal length, but I'm thinking at this stage I'm a little bit stuck on where the focus is, and hence the equation of the directrix. So if that's the case, I'm stuck, I can't go any further with the algebra. Hopefully the next thing you would do in that case is you would draw the diagram. Let's get to the diagram and see if the diagram can lead us to the next, answering the next parts of the question. So we know the vertex is at minus 2 and 1. That's the vertex. We've got the focal length is 2. But what else do we know about this parabola? We also know that this is a nice positive parabola. There was no negative over here. It was simply an x squared. So it's going to sit up the right way. So it's going to sit up here, going up, and its vertex is at minus 2 and 1. What I do know is the focal length is 2. I got that from the equation. How do you translate that into the diagram? Well, I know that that means that I have to go 2 units up here. So that's the axis. But 2 units up, because the focal length is 2. And 2 units down for the directrix. So that gives me, I suppose the directrix is the easier one. That's down at y was minus 1, because 2 units from 1 down 2 units I get to minus 1. So now I could say the directrix would have equation y is minus 1, and the focus is, well, I give my x value first, and I can see that the focus is going to occur down here at negative 2, and the focal length was 2 units. I'm going from 1, 2 units would put me up at y is equal to 3. And that's all I need. So the part of this question, in answering part of this question, I get it straight from the diagram, nothing else, no other working required, just an understanding from my diagram. How did I get a diagram? I did some work on the equation because it was not in the format that helped me get a diagram. I had to get it into this more familiar format. That enabled me to identify the vertex, focal length, made a diagram, could read off your answers. So that is a process that we haven't used before. But it's one that I'm sure that if you just worked through what you had, where you wanted to go and what you know, then you wouldn't have any trouble getting through that. I'm going to stop the video there and answer B in another video.